Did you know it takes hundreds of artists to create a single Disney Pixar movie? From concept artists and storyboarding to animation and visual effects, a massive team works tirelessly to bring beloved characters to life. It's a true collaborative effort that showcases the magic of teamwork and creativity. In today's lesson, we'll only need you and me to create the sketch illustration of Moana. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me today. For this lesson, we'll need our sketch pad and a pencil. I'm going to start my sketch off with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now we're going to start off by breaking down the basic shape with some guidelines. Let's start with a line coming down the center of our page. Starting from the very top in the middle, I'm just going to lightly work my way down towards the bottom using these short lines. All the way down towards the bottom. Now I move to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. And these lines are going to help us balance out our drawing. Now the secret to creating a great portrait is to set up the underlying structure. Now I use these two lines to help us create a circle to define the size of the head. So from that center point, I'm just going to move up to right about here, mark off the top of our circle. Now I want to take that same distance from the center and do the same thing across the bottom. Now the further away we go from that center point, the larger the circle will be. Now let's repeat that same process across this horizontal line. So measuring the distance over towards the left and then the right. And now to create a circle, all we need to do is connect the center point of each mark with a curve. So I'm going to start with the top left, and the circle doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using this as a guide. And the more you practice this technique, the better you'll get. Go all the way around, just smooth this out. Now from the side of our circle, we're going to add another guideline coming straight down. So let's start with the left side, coming all the way down towards the bottom. We want to make sure that the distance across this side is the same across the bottom. Now we're going to add another line going across the bottom of our circle from left to right. Now with our guidelines and circle in place, we're going to start blocking in the main facial features. Let's start by adding a guideline for the inside edge of the eyes. So from that center point, we move over to right about here, come straight down towards the bottom. Let's take the same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now Moana's eyes are set wide apart, so we're going to start this here. Now we want to locate the bottom of the eye, so we're going to come down to right about here. Draw another straight line going across from left to right. Let's curve the upper eyelid. We're going to start from this point and draw a half circle going up toward that center line. And then bring that all the way down towards the bottom. Do the same thing on the right. We want to leave a little bit of space along the outside of our circle. Now the bottom of the eyes aren't flat. They actually curve up. So from here, it's going to bend this across. Just pull that up slightly on the end. Now I want to position the iris and pupil up towards the top. So on the left side, right in the center of this curve, I'm going to draw a circle going all the way around towards the bottom. And I'm just going to tuck that up underneath. So you see that we pulled the iris in towards the inside. And then line this up on the right, going all the way around. And then again, just tucking that up underneath. We can always come back and just modify the shape and position later. Let's go into these 2 points. We're going to angle the eyebrow, just going up above the eye and out. And from the end, angle it down and out. Now I'm going to place the mouth along this bottom line. So from these 2 points, angle the mouth going up and then out towards the cheeks. Just going to block this off with a short line coming down. Let's add the upper lip. So from these 2 points, I'm going to curve the lip going up and then down. Go all the way out towards the outside, draw the lower lip, coming down towards the middle, round this out, and go back up. We're going to leave a gap just above the lip, and draw a straight line going across the nose, from left to right, towards those lines. And I want to add a guideline for the top. We're going to curve this up, around, and then down. For the lower lip, we're going to come all the way down, just going to locate the chin right about here, with a straight line. And I want to add some shape to the jaw. Let's start from the side of the eye line, curve this down, start to bend this in, going around the mouth, towards the chin, round out the chin, go up and then out towards the right. Going up in an angle, and round out the jaw. Now from here, we're going to draw the edge of the hairline. From the top of our circle, we're going to move down to right about here, and go up and out toward the left and right side. Now halfway along these lines, we're going to curve the hair, going across the head and then down towards the eyes. Now I want to add a little bit of detail to the neck and shoulders. Let's start with the gap in the center. We're going to draw two lines coming down. One on the left, and then one on the right. And then from the ends, we're going to slope the shoulders, coming down and then out. Let's go over towards the left side. From this point, we'll draw a straight line to separate the hair, going up. We want to add some volume to the hair. From here, we're just going to bend this out, go around the head, and then down towards the side. Round this out, go around, and then down towards the right. Now the hair on the left, we're just going to pull this back in behind the shoulders. So we're going to come down, round this out, and then in. And then over on the right side, we're going to angle this down and then out towards the end. Now on the left shoulder, let's add that strap. From the base of the neck, curve this around and in. Step across towards this point, curve this down and in. And then in the center, draw a straight line going across. Let's add that pendant in the center with an oval, going all the way around. And then from the top, bend this out and up towards the base of the neck on the left and right side. Now that we've blocked out the basic shape and proportions, I want to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines, so it'll help us get a better look at our drawing. We can make some adjustments if we need to. And once we finish cleaning up our drawing, I want to go in and add a second level of detail and refine the shapes. Now let's start with the eyes. We're going to start with the upper eyelid. Now this is where we can just adjust the placement if we need to. Also raising the eye a little bit more across the top and adding a fold. And she's got some thick lashes, so we're going to come back and do that after. Get the right shape of the eyes. And down across the bottom. Now right up here along the top, I'm just going to add a guideline going up and then in to thicken up the lash. I'm just going to lightly shade that in, going in across the top. Now along the bottom, I'm just going to darken up the bottom left corner. Just shade that in towards the inside of the eye. Let's do the same thing on the right. We're going to start with the inside of the eye. Now the gap in between the eyes is roughly the same width as the eyes. So we just want to make sure we go back and just check that before we continue forward. Let's thicken up the lash. Just adding that guideline and darkening that up. She also has a little bit of a fold above the eye, so we're just going to pull this around the lash. I can go back and just add some more detail to the iris and pupils. I'm just going to trace the iris on the inside lightly for the pupil. And then on the top right side, I'm going to add a small circle for a highlight. And we'll go in and just darken up the inside of the pupil. I'm just going to do this really roughly. Now underneath the eye, she has a little bit of a fold. So we're going to start with the inside, just pulling this down and then out along the side. And we're going to go back and add some thickness to the eyebrows. Let's start by adding some shape. Just going to bend this in. Now I want to raise the right brow. I'm going to go up a little bit higher, up towards that point, curve and bend that down towards the side. And I'm just going to pull the eyebrow in a little bit closer, flatten off the inside. I'm just going to add some thickness, going up and out towards the left. I'm just going to taper that down towards a point. Just going to do the same thing on the right, going up and then down. I'm just going to roughly shade the inside of the eyebrow, just so we can get a little bit of contrast. Now from here, we're going to move down and start adding some detail with the nose. Now we're going to start with that bottom curve first, starting from the left side, around the nostril, coming down and up. And curl the nostril going around. So from the bottom, it's going to round this out, going out towards the side. And just pull that up and then in. So add a little fold across the center. And then from the side of the nostril, it's going to shade in the cheek, coming down and out. Let's go in and add some shape to the mouth. Just going to round round out the lip. I'm going to go in and start modifying the shape of the head. And pull the chin in a little bit closer and a little bit pointier across the bottom. And the chin. And with the hair, I'm just going to add a little bit of a curl going around the face. There's also the curl going across the forehead. Now with the necklace, we're going to add a few pearls coming down. So these little circles going across the line. I'm just going to simplify the detail. Now with the hair, I'm just going to add a fold coming down and out on the side. And just add a wave coming down. Just going to add some guidelines for that curly hair. Also breaking up that straight edge. So just adding some curls going around the outside. Now in the middle, I'm just going to comb the hair over towards the right. So from the part, I'm going to go up, go across, and then down towards the side. I'm going to shade that bottom edge. And then again, just adding a wave across the top. Go back and do one final cleanup before we add in our contrast and shading. Now once we're content with the proportions, I'm going to go in with my darker pencil. This is a 0.9mm. I'm going to go in and start adding some contrast and more details. Now we're going to go back to the eyes. Starting with that darker eyelid. All the way around. And this is where we can add a little bit more texture to the lashes. So we're going to start from the bottom. From the edge of the eye, I'm just going to pull this up and then out. Just adding that texture of the eyelash going across the top, and then fading that out, and we'll work our way across the bottom. I'm just going to really darken up the inside of the pupil along the top, going around that highlight. Then I want to add a medium shade to the outside of the iris. We're going to go a little bit darker across the top and just fade that down towards the bottom to give it a little bit of a reflective effect. Just darken up the top and then gradually fade that down. Let's move over and do the same thing on the right eye. Now with the lashes, we're going to start off by just tracing out the outside first, and then we'll layer the texture inside after. So we're going to start from the outside, just darken this up, going out in an angle. So from the bottom, going up and then out, and then we'll just fill in the rest. just want to darken up the upper lip. Just going to shade that in. And then with the lower lip, it's going to shade in the outside and then fade that in to catch a little bit of the highlight. So darken up the bottom a little bit. And a shadow across the chin. Now with the hairline, I'm just going to start along this line. Just pull that hair texture going up and over towards the right. So just darken up that under part of the hair. I'm just going to curl this around. Just going to lightly shade in the bottom of that necklace. And we're going to add a little bit of texture across that fur edge. Just going to shade that in. Just enhance the outside edge of the fur. Do the same thing across the center. To add that texture from that center part, just pulling the hair over towards the left and then the right side. I'm just going to fill the inside with these little squiggly lines. And using the side edge of my pencil, I'm just going to darken up the hair going around the face, along the inside. Now we want to enhance the shape of our portrait by adding some shadows. Let's imagine that the light's coming from the top left side of our page going across our character. So the shadows sit along the bottom edge of each shape with the highlights across the top. So I'm going to use the flat edge of my 2mm pencil. Let's start underneath the eyelid. Just underneath the eyebrow, we're just going to push the eye in. So we're going to shade this in lightly, then fade that down. Now from the inside just above the eye, we're going to darken that up, then fade that out towards the side. So now you can see that the eyelid curls back. Let's do the same thing on the right. So we're just pushing the top of the eye in under the shadows. Also underneath the eye, I'm just going to shade that in lightly. And I'm also going to enhance the cheek. So I'm going to round up the cheek by lightly darkening up the bottom, coming in towards the nose, going around the corner of the mouth. So you got a little curve around the cheek, and this is a very subtle effect. Don't need to get too heavy with this. Now the nose is going to cast a shadow just up above the lip. Just going to darken that up. Also adding some shadow underneath the nose, because the nose is going to curl back into the shadow area. The area in between the brow, it's going to pull in. And then the head's going to cast a shadow across the neck, so we're going to darken up the top. Now we said that it's coming down at an angle, so I want to shift the shadow down towards the right, and then fade that out. So it starts off dark along the top, and then we'll fade that down. And then this hair also casts a shadow across the face. We're going to darken up the area underneath the forehead, and then along the side. And then this hair is going to cast a shadow across the forehead. Coming down. Let's enhance some of those tones in the hair just by darkening this up with that same wiggly line. I'm also going to add a light shade to the skin tones. I'm just going to wrap up my drawing with a little bit more texture and detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Moana. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe for more daily videos where I'll show you how to draw different characters just like this. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.